Hi everyone, I'm Kara Sundlin. Let's take a look at what was happening in Connecticut history today. 1 year ago today, some alums were trying to save a Catholic high school in Waterbury. Here was our story.
As news that declining enrollment was forcing the closure of Sacred Heart High School in Waterbury, thousands of alumni got together online and shared their times in those halls in a plea to keep it open. 1989 grad Tim Cipriano says it may be paying off. He recently got on the phone with the school's president, Eileen Reagan, who told him there's a plan in the works to try and save the school.
It seems to be that the school is now, really running on, sort of on overtime to try to get a plan together or to introduce the plan that may have been already put together.
The Archdiocese of Hartford says overall in the past year, enrollment is down 5%. The Archdiocese says it's a demographic issue.
There are smaller families. You look around and you see even towns where public schools are not fully utilized because the population base is just declining.
Despite the decline, the Archdiocese has seen more students from public schools transfer in, saying those families wanted in-person learning, which they've been able to have since the beginning of the school year. Father White says this shows they need to showcase their ability to meet children's mental and social needs to be able to get enrollment up.
We need to look at a new way to market our schools and to show this is not just about math and science and sports. Those are all great and very important, don't get me wrong. But we also need to be about the complete person.
For now, the Archdiocese of Hartford does not plan to close any schools except Sacred Heart High School. In Waterbury, Dennis Valera, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
5 years ago, President Trump reacted to a Russian spy ship found on the coast of Connecticut. Take a look.
Even though you can see Montauk Point, Long Island from the campus of Conn College in New London, you likely would not have seen the Russian spy ship that cruised 30 miles offshore in international waters. But students were talking about the international buzz that the ship created.
It definitely does instill a little bit of, just like nervousness, especially with what the Trump campaign has been kind of back and forth on our sanctions on Russia.
Today, during a news conference at the White House, President Donald Trump responded to questions about the Russian spy ship so close to the Navy base in Groton, which is home to 15 nuclear subs.
The greatest thing I could do is shoot that ship that's 30 miles offshore right out of the water. Everyone in this country is going to say, oh, it's so great. That's not great. That's not great.
The ship, the Victor Leonov, is loaded with sophisticated surveillance equipment and was being tracked from Cuba up the eastern seaboard outside the 12-mile international water zone, past Delaware and 30 miles off Connecticut's coast. Alex Heibel is professor of international politics at Connecticut College.
One needs to take into consideration that we do the same to them. I mean, we're constantly monitoring what the Russians are doing. We're constantly monitoring what the Chinese are doing.
Professor Heibel says nations look at each other in perspective of both military power and economic power. The spy ship's presence was a show of power.
And Russia is not a substantial economic power. It does have a substantial amount of oil and gas, but beyond that, it has not developed its economy.
10 years ago, a community pulled together to repair a church in Norwich that was helping so many. Kevin Hogan reports.
The church first discovered that they had a serious roof problem about 3 years ago. It's taken this long to get everybody to work together with the engineers and start fixing the problem. Amid the forest of scaffolds, there's a beautiful open sanctuary with stained glass windows designed by parishioner Louis Comfort Tiffany back in the 1800s. The scaffolding supports the workers fixing the ancient wooden beams that have separated in the attic, and that's above the sanctuary.
We're finding damage that had been there that no one knew about.
Damage such as cracks in the plaster ceiling. Engineers that were hired discovered those cracks revealed a bigger structural problem in the roof. After the engineering study was complete, it took time to raise money for the repairs. Because the church is used by several nonprofits, United Congregational was able to secure a $125,000 state grant towards the $290,000 repair.
Why didn't the ceiling fall? It was that serious.
Crews will repair or replace beams and remove 2 internal chimneys. But for its age, the contractor says the patient's gonna make it.
All old buildings like that have a natural creep and things sag, especially wood structures. So yeah, it's held up well.
There was one surprise discovery so far. Louis Tiffany design work on the walls, smothered under 2 layers of paint, but that renovation may be the next project. Work up here in the attic will continue right through April, and the church is expecting to have a celebration sometime in May. With the mobile news from Norwich, Kevin Hogan, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
And that's a look at today in Connecticut history.